What's an animal everyone thinks is harmless but in reality is very dangerous? I asked a zookeeper once which animal she thought was the scariest to work with. She said giraffes because they're so big and so stupid. I saw a similar thread where they said ostriches are way more dangerous than people realize. I don't think the average person considers them harmless, but I don't think it's common knowledge how easily they can disembowel a person with a single kick. I feel like most birds are acutely aware of the fact that they used to be dinosaurs. Swans and geese and even seagulls will go all Jurassic Park on your ass with barely any provocation, but they're small and can't do all that much damage. The idea of an ostrich with the temperament of a goose is legitimately terrifying. Dolphins. Those things can be little psychopaths. Came here for this. The biggest arpists and druggies on the planet. Intelligence is a hell of a drug, huh? Seems almost anything exceptionally intelligent is fucked up somehow. Hamsters. Little Ficker bit my finger when all I tried to do is feed it his stupid little carrot. I read a few years back that you're not really meant to handle hamsters and they just generally don't like being touched, unlike other small animals such as pet rats. You're just meant to put them in their colorful cage and watch them, especially if you get an adult from the pet store. You have to slowly train them to not mind human interaction. It really explains why the random unhandled adults from the pet store bit me so often. Chimpanzees. Growing up I thought chimps were friendly. It wasn't until college I did work placement at the zoo, when we got told we were feeding the chimps I was so excited until they told us it was through the bars and very carefully. They told us about how the group of females had turned on one of the male chimps recently and literally ripped chunks off him. After that I read about the lady that her face ripped off by her pet chimp. Apparently they're smart and will attack the hands and face first to stop you from defending yourself. Cute as hell but no longer the cuddly fluffers I thought they were. Childhood dreams were ruined that day, haha. I mean, it makes sense. They're basically little bundles of muscle with all the rage/emotion of humans, but none of the rational or critical thinking skills to manage it. I've never understood how people can see how scary people are, frontal cortexes and all, but expect an even more not evolved version of ourselves to be nice and cuddly. There's the stonefish, which looks like a rock. It hunts by ambushing fish who happen to be walking by, and will gladly poke you in the foot if you step on it. The thing is, the spike will shoot through your sandal and the venom it injects is super deadly and there's no fucking reason for this. Why do that much fucking damage if nobody looks at a rock and goes, that looks weird? I read somewhere that the venom won't kill you but it's so painful that people beg you to chop off their leg. Never turn your back on a goose. Beware of beavers. Beavers will stand their ground and confront a threat. If trapped, cornered, or ensnatched, a beaver will attack a human. The rodent's sharp teeth may cause serious injury as well as infection. Beavers carry tularemia, parasites, and rabies, which can transfer through bites, body fluids, or infected water. Before beavers attack humans or other animals, they send a warning by growling and hissing. On land, the animal rises to its hind legs to face a threat. In the water, a startled beaver slaps its tail against the surface to alert others in the colony before diving to safety. I had a beaver shadow me for about a half mile while I was wade fishing a small river. Whenever I stopped to fish, it swam within about 15 feet from me and slapped its tail against the water. So I would move farther downstream, but it would just repeat the process. It was probably protecting little ones, but finally I got so unnerved I decided that was enough fishing for one day. Lol. Man got bullied by a beaver. Pigs. People thinks they're harmless packs of bacon but in reality they can easily kill you if annoyed. And they are omnivorous. They will eat you, if they have the chance. Toddlers. No one thinks they're harmless. Flying cockroaches. Once when I was a kid a cockroach crawled across the TV. I thought it was part of the show I was watching until it flew at my face. I, personally always thought bison were dangerous, but the National Park Service recently found it necessary to put up signs warning people don't pet the fluffy cows. Yeah. I mean I don't get the logic of some people. They see a minivan of meat with the temperament of a 4-year-old boy, and decided to go pet it. Deer versus your car, you got a bit of a chance. Bison versus your car, it's a one-hit KO. Bison versus you and it's gonna cancel your subscription to life. That's the thing, they don't see a minivan of meat with the temperament of a 4-year-old boy. They see a fluffy grazing herbivore, and assume that since it doesn't eat meat that it must be friendly and docile. Everyone knows mosquitoes are dangerous, but they are still wildly underestimated. Considering they are so tiny, they kill at least 500,000 people every year. That's like 10,000 times more than hippos, which are like the second biggest human-killing animal. There is a theory that malaria accounts for 50% of all humans' deaths in history. Probably not true though, and yet people still think of them as tiny annoying pests when they are arguably the biggest problem to mankind ever. It depends on your location. Here in Western Europe, mosquitoes are just annoying. I lived a year in Asia, where I was protecting myself a whole lot better against mosquitoes. Was about to say that, there are thousands of species of mosquitoes all over the world, but only a few can carry diseases, and even less of them carry deadly diseases. Still dangerous though. Sloths. Those things are mean. Once, at an exotic pet show, I was talking to a lady that rescued a sloth from a roadside zoo as a baby, and she said they are really fast when they want to be. I didn't believe her, but then her sloth lunged at me at around the same speed as a full-throttle SR-71. I was thankfully able to pull my hand away, but she said that if he had bitten me, it would have been bad, since their fangs, yes, fangs, are triangular, and therefore make wounds that are very slow to heal, which usually result in very nasty infections. Anyways, that was the last day I thought sloths were always slow. I just had to Google sloth teeth after reading this, and holy shit. I did not realize they had teeth like that. Cows. Folk from big cities that never visit the countryside really do not appreciate how the simple fact that a cow weighs considerably more than they do. Whether the beastie is friendly or pissed off, all it takes is for them to sit on you to ruin your day. My uncle is a zoologist, and the only animal he was ever attacked by was a meerkat. I'm a zoo volunteer, got bitten by a meerkat a few months ago. It just started up and bit my finger for no reason, little jerk. They are fast. Yeah, he said that they're really aggressive and to be extra careful around them. My answer: horses. As someone who grew up on a horse farm, a lot of people simply don't understand how devastating a kick from a horse can be. On top of that, a lot of people don't know basic horse safety. Even so, horses can still get spooked. My dad once got kicked in the groin, not even at full force, and he had a bruise on his stomach the size of a dinner plate. I got grazed by a horse's kick, and I do mean grazed, it barely touched me. Broke my ribs. Wow, if it would have landed a solid strike to your sternum, you'd almost certainly be dead. New Yorkers, you're more likely to be bitten by one than a shark. Actually, that's a misleading statistic. The vast majority of New Yorkers don't, and will not bite you. It's actually Michael McBitey, an angry man who lives in the Canal Street station and bites over 15,000 people a year, who skews the average. Wombats. They can run really fast, beat you up, and are super dense with a low center of gravity, so easily flip your vehicle if you hit them while driving. Combat wombat. Ladybugs are adorable and precious to humans, but to other bugs they are poisonous death tanks. They are the best response to aphids taking over one's rose bushes. Absolutely. One of the insects I buy is larvae or eggs to release them in my garden. They kill almost everything that targets plants. Add a few ichneumon wasps and you got your own pest death squad in your garden. Kangaroos are really aggressive during mating season and have been known to take on a range of other animals, especially dogs and humans. For Americans studying abroad, the #1 danger is alcohol-related. Except for Australia. It's kangaroos. It probably is directly correlated to alcohol though. Who in their right mind goes, "Ha! This thing that's bigger than me and can kick clean through my stomach would be fun to chase and pet?" I recall a friend in Australia talking about another friend who was visiting. The visitor was scared of the snakes that everyone else was chill about, but excited when a kangaroo entered the garden while everyone was like, "Get the fuck inside." At least the snakes are scared of people. Cats. I volunteer at a cat shelter and a couple of them send people to the ER. A scared cat will do anything to be left alone. We had one who charged at people and ran after them to bite their calves. I had one who, not only bite my wrist, but stayed there, kind of locking his jaw. Blood everywhere, my hand almost doubled in size. Do you know what most of the people who get injured by our cats said before? "Don't worry, I know cats." Yeah, you know your cat, a loving potato who's well fed and loved. Don't put your face in front of a feral cat. God, I just remembered the time someone brought a stray they'd just found. They put him in the back seat with their infant. Now he was a sweet cat, but it's like, you didn't know that. I love cats, but if you don't know a specific cat, as a grown man I'm very careful with them. I cannot imagine putting an untrapped stray in the back seat with a baby. That was really stupid. Damn near all of them. Don't approach wildlife. Not really considered harmless, but I was amazed to learn that the animal that kills the most people is the mosquito. Not everyone, but I see a few people get dangerously close to big birds like hawks and eagles. I'm like, people, those birds almost got bigger claws than bears, leave them alone. I work with them quite often and yeah, if you don't know what you are doing and how to properly handle them, it can be very very dangerous. Also, people letting their little tiny rabbit-sized dogs walk off leash in areas where I know there are raptors drives me mad. There's no way you'd be able to save your dog if one decided they looked like a good meal. I was standing in the parking lot of my apartments and saw a hawk dive for this guy's little dog. Luckily the pup was leashed and the guy snatched him up fast enough. But it was definitely a sight to see. Dragonflies, but not to people. I went off the beaten path hiking around an old slate town and there was a lot of horse/deer flies buzzing around attacking me. I came across the edge of a huge beaver pond that hasn't really been touched by humans in 100+ years. As soon as I get to the marshy beach, all of a sudden I see these little flashes of black zooming around my head and all of the flies are gone. These fucking dragonflies came in and took them all out in a matter of seconds mid-goddamn flight. Dragonflies are really good predators. They are the perfect flying machines. Dragonflies haven't changed much over their evolutionary path. They still closely resemble their ancestors from millions of years ago. I'm going to go with the obvious here, dogs. If you have a big dog, i.e. German Shepherd, if they wanted to they would tear your throat out and you couldn't do much to stop them. Yep. Was looking for this one. If they want to, large dogs can kill you. I used to be really afraid of dogs, now I just use my common sense and avoid large dogs I don't know instead of freaking out about every dog. It's weird how far down this was. Living in a poor country for a while made me gain a fear of dog gangs. They'll chase your car down if you're not from the area. Domesticated animals are the most dangerous for reasons of proximity to humans alone. Dogs, cats, and exotic pets cause an insane number of injuries. Add to that infections from bites and scratches. Then you have larger animals like cattle, horses, and pigs. All of those can mess you up if you get unlucky or don't know how to act around them. Donkeys, although they look innocent, but they have nasty kicks and bites. Anybody that thinks donkeys aren't terrifying should see what happens when they get a hold of a coyote. Which is why they make really good farm animals. They help guard the other critters if raised well. My mom had one that was good to people as long as you scratched his ears when he wanted. Otherwise he was a terror to any predator trying to sneak in. Nasty bites and nastier kicks. We were always finding dead weasels near the hen house and coyotes near the fence lines. He liked a nice apple or carrot if you wanted to curry his favor. I have heard capybaras carry a disease/virus dangerous to humans. And those critters look so chill to hang with. It's not actually them, they can carry a tick, Amblyomyxa genets, which is a host of some pretty terrible diseases that will make you lose some limbs even if you survive them. Prairie dogs. They have vice-grip teeth and carry all sorts of nasty diseases including various species of plague. Cone snails. You see their shells decorating bathrooms all the time. But find a live one and make the mistake handling it and it will lance you with a venomous harpoon. For several species, such as the geography cone, this venom is sufficient to swiftly kill a human. Definitely snails. Certain freshwater snails carry parasitic worms that in turn carry a deadly disease known as schistosomiasis. When humans come into contact with water where these snails live, they can become infected and die of organ failure. In sub-Saharan Africa, schistosomiasis is the second leading cause of death after malaria, with more than 200,000. Panda. Those MFs can rip you to shreds, but everyone is like, they're so cute, I wanna hug one. No TF you don't. They would beat your ass. I mean, they are a panda bear, emphasis on bear. They have a bite force stronger than a lion, which makes sense if you've ever seen one eat bamboo. Shocked not to see swans here. Fiercely territorial, large and aggressive. Will never forget seeing a child get their arm broken by one. People talk a lot about geese and how dangerous they are, but never mention swans, which are just larger, stronger geese. Moose. Tourists try to walk right up to them for pictures, but they are 2 tons of murder and insanity. People who try to walk right up to a moose are fairly in the running for a Darwin Award. Fucking bellends. Ants. If you fall asleep in the wild and are anywhere near a colony, they will fucking feast on you, man. It's terrifying. I broke my leg and landed on an ant's nest and was bitten for nearly 2 hours while waiting for a helicopter. Got morphine about 1 hour and could still feel those ants spitting. Many came along in my temp cast, and when I got to X-ray I asked if they could take the cast off to get rid of the ant spitting. They thought I was tripping on morphine until they took the cast off and ants went running everywhere. Poor girl was afraid of insects. Poor girl? You the poor girl here. Holy hell of a nightmare. All of them. Animals have to defend themselves to stay living. Fluffy buns have huge sharp teeth and claws and will fuck you up. Kittens are pointy murderers in training. Moo cows have horns and stompers. And the smaller they are, the more dangerous they are. Bugs and parasites and shit have to get really nasty. I'll also add fluffy buns have very powerful back feet. It's well known in the rabbit community that a mad enough rabbit can quite literally kick the head off another rabbit's smile. Cows kill more people than sharks. I'm surprised that cows kill any sharks at all. Nice one, Dad. For more videos, like and subscribe.